Focus. Focus up. I'm talking to you, Damon Dale. Finished basketball, and now you're starting baseball. Keep up the great job on school, athletics, and just being a good overall human being, bud. For those that don't know, Damon Dale is my 12-year-old, and he's fantastic. Welcome. This is episode 56. 56 of the Rubio Method. My name is Chris Rubio. I'm giving you a heads up. This is pre-recorded because when you're watching this on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern, I will not be filming this because I'll be somewhere else. I'm not going to tell you where. Maybe I'll tell you on episode 57 on April 2nd, but we shall see. We're going to have a very interesting show. We're going to bring two of my buddies out. One I've known for, he says 30 years. I refuse to believe it's that long. And then one I've known for about 2 years, but I've only seen one time. So we're going to just have a little roundtable discussion and just have some, decent topics to cover and see which way we go with them. So can you bring us all the people out right now? Okay. So to my left, I think it's your right. I don't know how it is. We've got AC, Anthony Cobbs, host of AC Sports Live. And then we've got Brian Jodice, the host of Pick Up the Six Productions. What's going on, Jodice? You're in North Carolina right now, yes? And AC, yes. You're in the DC?
Yes.
I'm in California, but not the LBC specifically. But I will not give my location. I don't want some people, my fans, to try to find me and track me down and ask for autographs.
But it's not live, so how would they find you?
Exactly.
I'm in the California East. North Carolina, the California
Are you
East.
in Northern California or Southern California, AC? Just tell us that. So AC froze, so we'll work on his questions a little bit later. So we're going to hit about 5 or 6 different topics, and we're going to just start with, do I have to go in order, Jodice, or can I just trick you around?
You can go. Listen, this is your show, man. Now, look, let's open the kimono here for your viewing audience. I do have my finger on all of the elements of the show. So playing the role of Jenna today, who you normally talk to in a loving fashion as to direct the show, I've got control of it. So that also means I get all the blame, I suppose, if this thing goes off the rails. So really, bro, it's your show. Whatever you want to do. We're here to talk and we're here to get after it.
Let's go with the one that you're the most excited about. Let's go top 3 sandwiches. Top 3 sandwiches. What are your top 3 sandwiches? Now, AC, you and Jodice are both the chefs of the group, and I'm obviously more of the eater, being that I'm about 230 pounds right now, and I've been upwards of 375. So I know my way around a good sandwich.
Okay. That's a big Montana right there. If you were a sandwich at 375, you'd have been a big Montana.
Big fella.
It was big. But my weight fluctuated at UCLA from 293 the first day I got there to about 250. So it just depended on what season I was at. So AC, I'm going to start with you. Top 3 sandwiches. Go.
Top 3 sandwiches. I'm going Philly cheesesteak, just being a homer. And I'm going Cali Turkey Club with the avocados. And I'm going ghetto. I'm going old school square Wonder Bread, hot link, and an egg with some cheese on it.
So I respect that, because I was thinking this morning about what about just a good old fashioned white bread, mustard, fried bologna. Keep it real. Ain't got a lot of money. We're scrapping through it, right? Listen, it ain't in the pantheon of sandwiches. We all know that there's better, but you got to think about, bro. See, that's your problem, Rubio. You got to tap in, man. You got to tap in. Throw some chips on there. Throw some Lay's potato chips on that chip.
I'm okay with the crunch, doing all that. I'm fully okay with that. Now, AC, going to your sandwiches, the Philly, is there a specific spot?
Yeah, that's the real question.
I go to D'Alessandro's in New Jersey.
Bro.
D'Alessandro's, and then you got to go back to Philly and hit up Geno's and Pat's. Yeah, but I've come to love D'Alessandro's. It's been consistent. I don't go Cheese Whiz. I go with, regular old school provolone or whatever else, white cheese they got.
Cheese Whiz is for between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. You eat Cheese Whiz when you're stumbling out of a bar. You get a Whiz Wit, and that's it, right? My wife's from Philly. AC's got Philly roots. D'Alessandro's in Northeast Philly. Jim's Steaks, downtown Philly. Pat's and Geno's are like the tourist attractions. But dude, you can get better steaks all over that city. Not to also be underappreciated. Everybody thinks of the Philly cheesesteak. You go to the Knicks, or you go to a couple other places in Philly, you get this roast pork with broccoli rabe and sharp provolone. It's the greatest sandwich on the planet. Roast pork Italian.
What?
Listen, Rubio, come to Philly. AC and I will take you out. We'll get you a roast pork in Philly. It'll change your life.
Think about It's like pastrami on steroids. Like
Yeah,
the
bro.
meat is just tender and juicy and
It's got some juice on it.
It doesn't get stringy, right? Because I don't do stringy meat.
Nah, bro. It's like shaved thin like a cheesesteak, but it's got this au jus and it's got sharp provolone cheese. I know you're not a big vegetable guy, so the broccoli Rob might throw you though.
If you put some cheese on it, Rubio.
Yeah.
Rubio eats some cheese broccoli.
Broccoli Rob is a sharp green. Italians love it. We eat it all the time. It looks like sort of long, thin broccolini, but it's got a sharp flavor to it. But it pairs with that roast pork and that provolone. It's
Rubio's face is classic, man. He's just trying to taste it with his ears.
100%. This is why I do not watch cooking shows, because it pisses me off that I can't smell it or cook it while they're making it. Like, why would you tease me this entire time?
Yeah.
It's like when people go to strip clubs. Why would you go to a strip club? All you're doing is teasing yourself. The same thing with Food Network.
Right.
I guarantee.
But see, and then the question is, what constitutes a sandwich? See, this is a long debate. Like, I grew up in Eastern North Carolina. We'd eat a chopped pork, whole hog chopped pork and coleslaw on just a good old school bun, and like that's it. Pretty simple, right?
If it's got bread around it, if it's got a bread bookshelf, that's
here's the problem. Here's the problem. A hot dog's not a sandwich, and a hot dog has the bread vehicle, but it's not a sandwich.
Why is it not a sandwich?
Because it's just not. A hot dog's not a sandwich. I can't explain it other than people listening and watching will say, Jodice is 100% right. A hot dog's not a sandwich.
If the back of the bread breaks, if the bottom of the bread, it becomes a sandwich. If the bottom of the breads connect, it's a taco.
Yeah, but in your best cheesesteaks, the bottom of the bread's going to be connected.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What about like a pita?
I see a pita is a different category to me. It's a pocket.
This is the same conversation we had. I'm not sure if it was on the Rubio method, but a cookout versus a barbecue.
Yes.
Well, barbecue where I'm from is a verb.
How the way you're cooking
it. That's right. You barbecue something.
The South is its whole separate world.
It's a whole different world, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jodice, let's jump to you. What are your 3 sandwiches?
Well, that roast pork from DeNick's in downtown Philly, it's at the Reading Terminal, is one of the greatest sandwiches I've ever eaten. But then I'm also a sucker for just, man, a good hard Italian roll, provolone, mortadelle, prosciutto, gabagool, all of that stuff, like a good Italian hoagie for me.
Forget about it, Sopranos.
Phenomenal, right? Phenomenal. But then, like, dude, I'll get down on like my grandmother used to make eggplant parmesan. We make eggplant parm sandwiches. I mean, like, I eat, dude, sandwiches. My family will tell you my 2 favorite foods are pizza and sandwiches.
I love pizza.
Top 2.
I can get behind that.
And I go back and forth depending on the mood. I mean, but there's just something about a good sandwich, man. But there's also something about, and you guys will know this, and I know AC will, a hot summer's day, you've been outside, you've been drinking from the hose, you run in the house, you get some mustard, just some cheap ham, a piece of that yellow cheese, slap it on there with some Lay's potato chips, and we're rolling, fam.
Rolling, man.
We're rolling.
Tell you, Rubio, you haven't lived until you had a ghetto sandwich, man.
Right?
That's the thing. I've had a ghetto sandwich, and it was ghetto, and it was terrible, and I don't
know. That means it wasn't the right one.
It was terrible, man.
If I go into the restaurant business as one of my next careers, I'm gonna have a ghetto burger. I'm gonna have a ghetto sandwich. I'm gonna call it the Rubio.
I love it. Listen, you could have the most high-end sandwich joint.
I'm okay with that.
Right? I've always wanted to open Dice's Subs and Slices. Right? Amazing, right? But have that old school, just Wonder Bread ham, right? Kraft American cheese and potato chips. Have that available. I think people would buy it.
Yeah.
Jodice, speaking of the Italian meats and subs and all that stuff, okay, my sandwiches, I'm going to tell you a quick story before I get to my sandwiches. I have an Uncle Jim. He just passed away. Great Italian guy. He was about 5'6", 245 pounds, just a solid piece of beef.
Freaking bowling ball.
This is a true story. He used to travel with 2 suitcases. I've told this story on my show before. I don't know how many people remember it. He would have 1 suitcase, and these were the old school suitcases, not the rollers like you've seen them on like Mad Men.
Okay.
So he'd have 1 suitcase of clothes and the other suitcase filled with meats and cheeses.
That's right.
He would roll with his own salted meat.
100%. Like, I mean, and it was not it wasn't a carry-on suitcase. Like, he checked this baby.
I would have liked him.
this, a big suitcase, 50 pounds of meats and cheeses.
Forget about it.
He would bring it all, and he'd love to make a sandwich because he'd bring Mancini's bread from Pittsburgh, and he would make us sandwiches. And I remember one of the greatest stories of all time. It was my sophomore year at UCLA. I come home, a big guy, and he goes, "Christopher, you want me to make you a sandwich?" I go, "Uncle Jim, I'd love for you to make a sandwich."
Christopher, forget about it.
No bread, fresh as can be, even though it just traveled 3,000 miles. He gets meats and cheeses.
Did he put French fries on it? Did he put Manti Bros in?
No French fries. Okay. But he's got all the meats and cheeses. I mean, we're talking mozzarella, everything going. I mean, it's this big. And I'm like, wow, that's a big sandwich. And I said, he goes, and I finally just take it whole. He goes, well, I thought you're hungry. And I said, well, I look at the size of my sandwich, man. I'm starving. And he goes, well, cut it. And I go, why would I cut it? I'm just going to eat it. Right. I don't need to cut it. My hands are big enough. He goes, well, then you have 2 sandwiches. And I go, it's the same sandwich, man.
Well,
just cut in half.
2 sandwiches are always better than 1 sandwich.
He says, you're a smart guy. You go to UCLA, right? I go, yeah. And he goes, what number's bigger, 2 or 1? And I go, 2. And he goes, 2's better than 1, Christopher.
2 sandwiches. Forget about it. No disrespect, Tone.
I love it.
But 2 is better than 1.
That's a true story. So my sandwiches, a meatball sub from Capri Deli in Covina, California.
Ain't gonna fight you on that.
Cheese everywhere, sauce. And I'm a sauce guy. So like when I bite, I want shrapnel of sauce hitting the walls. I want it falling on me. AC, what's the pastrami place? It's a sandwich place, and it's a chain in the LA area. But they have a great pastrami sandwich. You can feel by halfway through, you feel your heart start to stop.
Is it in Manhattan Beach?
There's a couple of them. I can't remember the name, but it's just like a hole in the wall, kind of greasy, like a pit stop. You drive through, you get the pastrami sandwich. I can't remember what it's called.
Man.
But that's super, super greasy. And that's probably it. I could just survive on just those 2. Does a hamburger count as a sandwich?
Kind of.
I mean, listen, when I think they invented the hamburger, and there's a little small joint like in Connecticut that claims they're the ones who brought it to the United States, I think they call it the hamburger sandwich, and it comes on just white toasted bread.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. No. I know what my third is. Getting a roll or white bread, your last bit of spaghetti, putting on.
Whoa, a spaghetti sandwich.
That's a ghetto sandwich, man. That's a ghetto sandwich.
My grandfather used to eat broccoli sandwiches. He'd get a good piece of Italian bread. He'd throw some broccoli in there, a bunch of Parmesan cheese. Boom. That's how he ate broccoli. Broccoli sando, easy. I'm just giving you a cultural reference and sharing a personal part of my life. Okay, I don't think you need
to share that broccoli sandwich thing ever again.
Yes, absolutely. No. I'll fight to the death on that broccoli sandwich.
Okay, let's do this.
Where do we come down on BLTs?
BLT is good too, but the BLT there's an issue. The BLT issue is you can cut up the roof of your mouth.
Got to make a good one.
Yeah, I mean, if it's too big, it's like eating Captain Crunch. You're risking the roof of your mouth going up and down, and it's just.
Yeah. Well, you almost have to have 2 lists, man. You have to have a store-bought sandwiches versus your homemade.
That was the point, right? Is it just what are the best, or what are the best you've ever had, or your favorite?
If you're going to do a list, then you got to do hot and cold.
I know. That's why I go the roast pork 1A, Italian hoagie 1B for me.
But then if you're going to go hot and cold, then you have to have a subcategory again of bread or roll.
Listen, I've also had a buffalo chicken wrap that'll change your life.
It's a wrap.
You know what I'm saying? But that's a wrap.
That's not a sandwich.
A wrap's a burrito, right?
A wrap's a burrito. That's a burrito.
A wrap's in the burrito family. Fair
What's
point.
Hot dog?
Hot dog is its own glorious thing. Hot dog's its own glorious mystery. It is. It's closer to a sandwich than anything. But you just can't say. It just doesn't feel right. Something about that doesn't feel right.
You can't go wrong with a good hot dog, though. Hot dogs are great.
Dude, I like them in all ways, shapes, and form. People get all bent out of shape. Like I've had the Chicago dog, outstanding. I've had just a regular hot, right? I'm for all of it. Sauerkraut, here where we live in the South, right? Dude, onion, coleslaw, chili, mustard, boom.
Street dogs.
Okay. You know what is not overrated? This next commercial, but then we're going to come back to the most overrated athletes of all time. I only have one. I'm only going to say one. I know AC is going to go off and Jodice is going to go off, but we'll do it right after this commercial.
Our dedicated staff is ready to work for you. ArcBeat specializes in custom apparel. Call us or order online. Free shipping nationwide. Custom printed shirts are our specialty, and we make sure you get exactly what you want. Bring in your own design or let our team create one for you. Promote your business, event, or club with pens, caps, bottles, mugs, and more.
Creating cool since 1985.
Focus up. I'm talking to all you sandwich lovers out there. Hopefully you guys started making some sandwiches as you heard us talking about sandwiches. Jodice, AC, get back here with me.
We're back.
Most overrated athlete of all time. And you can do overrated athlete and or coach. I'm going to start because I only have one. And I'm going to let you guys just banter away with this one. Overrated athlete of all time, Odell Beckham. He had one good catch, and then he became a China doll where he gets hurt all the time. You take away that one good catch, and no one knows that guy's name. He's just another receiver that bounces between teams, and he does, he's one of those great, AC, I think you even said this, he's a great practice player where he just makes the hell of a catch in the practice, but during the game, he looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. That's what I'm saying on that.
He was arguably on pace, to win Super Bowl MVP before he got hurt in that Super Bowl with the LA Rams. He arguably was on pace to win the MVP. But to your point, Rubes, he got hurt and then was not there to be able to do that. He has made more than, that one catch obviously is one of the greatest catches. Yeah. The two greatest catches in the history of the NFL, sorry to the Immaculate Reception, come from New York Football Giants. David Tyree off the helmet to help clinch that Super Bowl winning drive, right? But your point on Odell is, I think there's some validity in it, in that the upside is just so huge. And you're right, dude, that move to Cleveland was so strange. What a waste.
Just I don't know, man. I don't like it.
But as a former defensive back, I recognize talent. Kid can play. He just can't stay healthy. Yeah, and he's not in the right situation.
Yeah. He's the past version. Is still playing of Van Der Esch from the Cowboys. Dude's great, but he gets injured every year, and he just had to medically retire.
Can you say overrated if you're hurt? Like sometimes it's just not in the cards for you, man. Now, if a guy like Ben Simmons, questionable injuries, a toe, a low back, no heart. Doesn't want to face the media, doesn't want to face the fans. Like that's more of a, and again, we don't want to rag on the mental illness guys. But at the same time, if you got a little chip on your shoulder and you're a jerk in college and you're doing all this other stuff, you're overrated, buddy.
And that's not, I don't think that's a mental illness thing. I think that's an attitude thing.
Yeah. There's a point to be made about that. You go into football, a lot of eyes sort of automatically, and if you got to be old enough to remember this guy, but if you weren't, makes one guarantee, does lead a team to win a Super Bowl. But Joe Namath's career, when you look at it, and he's got a gold jacket, right? Like Hall of Famer. Hey. But if you look at the numbers, bro, it doesn't stack up. It doesn't stack up. The greatest thing he ever did was tell Susie Kohlberg live on TV he wanted to kiss her, which was not his. Oh, he was hammered. It was not his finest moment. And I'm not making light of alcoholism. I'm not. But that was a pretty funny moment. Dude, but overrated, Joe Namath, Broadway Joe, the Jets, the first greatest Jets quarterback since Joe Namath. Really?
Bro.
Chad Pennington was a better Jet quarterback than Joe Namath?
He pulled an Ali and guaranteed.
He did. Against the unbeatable. The world beating.
Here's the thing.
Johnny Unitas, bro.
But people do the guarantees all the time. Like, I guarantee we're going to win. And then if you win, it's phenomenal. But if you lose,
nobody remembers. Nobody remembers.
He's not Fran Tarkenton running around on film. You watch him in the film, he's getting sacked half his highlights.
Yeah.
But he got a championship.
Oh, most overrated player in the current generation, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray stinks. I think he stinks.
I think
Kyle Murray's wildly overrated.
I'm going to go and the greatest point guard of all time. Like,
who'd you say?
Oh, you froze. Who?
Chris Paul.
Whoa.
Whoa. I'm not a stats guy. I'm an eye test guy, and I don't see him winning. I don't see him willing his team and the assists leading to victories. He's been greatness adjacent.
Right? You've also tainted due to the fact that you grew up watching the Magic Johnson. just down the street and just him just dominating at 6'8" point guard.
I got Rondo over Chris Paul all the time.
All right, let me ask you this. Let's get real. Where's Aaron Rodgers rank? I think Aaron Rodgers should be in this conversation.
One chip.
And I'm kind of an Aaron Rodgers fan. And in fact, I told you guys this at the Super Bowl. The more people hate him, the more I got this weird thing, the more I kind of try to like him. But he
won the MVP a couple of years ago, man. He's good, but does he finish?
Yeah. You can't do the championship argument because
there's a time where he was the greatest quarterback. They said he was the most talented quarterback. Right, Brady's the greatest, but they'd always say he's the best quarterback. I've heard that conversation before.
He throws the best ball, most accurate. What?
Dan Marino does that. Dan Marino did all that. He just didn't win the championship.
Well, Dan Marino just had a cannon.
I also think Dan Marino's properly rated.
At number 3 or 4, right? Is he top 5?
I think Dan Marino's top 10. I think by the time you start talking about Mahomes and Brady and Manning and Elway and Montana, I can very quickly get Marino headed out of the top 5 very quickly, just by those names I just mentioned.
See, I'm too personable with it. Where like Patrick Mahomes, as good as he is, I can't stand him because of his voice.
Let's go, no.
You always have the funniest reason.
Let's go, no.
He sounds like a dirty Kermit the Frog, and I don't
want to hear it.
Yeah, it's God. It's
come on, Otto. Come on, Otto. We get your jersey.
No,
yeah. It makes me look like I'm smelling onions every time I hear him, and I don't like it. I just don't like it. And by the way, Jodice, the first you're wrong on your best catches. Number 1, obviously Odell. Number 2 was AC's interception against USC.
My apologies. Apologies to Anthony.
The one that got called back. The one
I think I said it in the history of the NFL. So I stand on
okay.
But of all time, yes, everyone knows in the pantheon of all time catches.
Oh no.
What number did you wear in college? 3.7?
15.
15.
We had several.
I had several. I had 5 jerseys in college.
What?
Well, I couldn't wear my high school number.
What was your high school number?
5, and Kenny Easley was
couldn't wear 5 in those days. You could now.
No, they still can't wear 5 at UCLA.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What other numbers did you wear?
Sheesh, I went from 5. Well, I went from 19 to
not bad.
83 to 88.
Yeah, okay.
To 35.
They moved you back to defense.
Well, I never played defense in my life until Donnie Hughes said, "You're never playing again unless you transfer to defense."
You're like, oh, I guess I'm transferring to defense.
Yeah, well, I didn't find that out till junior year, and then finally I found out, and I was playing defense with number 88.
What about big 6'7" over there, number 67? Was
Rubio,
that you,
64.
64.
Got the picture on the wall right here.
6 and 4 equals the 10. Perfect.
Big guy right here. Big guy with the clean shaven face and the douchebag Jersey Shore hair. He had the slick.
His hair was good.
Greasy. I mean,
was legit.
When I saw him 20 years later, I'm like, what happened to your hair?
Yeah.
Time, bro. Father time.
Now I'm getting my racing stripes with my sunglasses.
Most overrated coach, man. I got John Calipari.
John, you know what? I was thinking in my head about Calipari. I mean, he's won at multiple levels. That you can't forget that UMass run was pretty legendary.
Yeah,
to take that program there.
He's had so many NBA players and no chips, man. I mean, I know he's a one and done guy. He's the guy that introduced one and done, or kind of made it famous. Yeah. But I'm thinking all that talent, you could only bring home 1 chip at Kentucky, and that team was loaded. So I don't know, man. Is it him or is he an all-star coach? He's an AAU coach.
What about George Karl for basketball? I think he's one of those that's always like makes the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah. No, JK's problem was Jordan, right? Like he's there coaching that Jazz team beats that was Jerry Sloan.
That was Jerry Sloan.
I just did in my brain. I was like, that was Jerry Sloan. No, I'm probably with you with George Karl then.
But players like him, right? The players that played for him actually like what he did. They appreciated him, right?
Yeah, no, he was a player's coach. I'm not saying that. I mean, there's a player's coach and there's not a player's coach. He was a player's coach, but he just didn't. He's one of those coaches that kept getting hired.
That's Doc Rivers.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
exactly.
And look, Doc could be on that list too. Then.
Yeah, very much. He's on my list
for sure.
Yeah.
Here's my top. Here's my 5, man. You guys can go on and do your thing. I got Chris Paul number 1, Doc Rivers number 2, John Calipari number 3, James Harden number 4, and A-Rod.
Dude, I was going to say A-Rod. A-Rod was in my list. He was in my quiver because, yeah, he won MVPs and finally won a championship with the Yankees. But I can't stand him. It wasn't that I didn't like him. It was just like they're force feeding this guy to be the MVP.
Yeah. I'm like, he's good, but when he's with the Mariners, you're like,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yankees.
I'm tracking you. I'm tracking you on that one for sure.
You're on Rubio mode, AC, where you just don't like him. You're smelling onions. I
don't know why I don't like him.
Yeah, it's because he's a good-looking, smooth guy. And they try to push him too much. I mean, is that it?
No, I felt like he was always lying. I felt like A-Rod was always lying and just making stuff up. And I think he's an idiot too.
Yeah, well, he's definitely you could tell he was like the politician, like he was he was just always kissing the flesh, kissing babies, pressing the flesh, doing all that, just kind of always schmoozing.
Bro lost J-Lo to Ben Affleck. Come on, man.
He lose all credibility.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, though. That's for sure.
you AC and Jodice, you guys want to let's do one more topic.
Sure.
Okay.
What's next, big fella?
Top place you want to visit but haven't. Top place you want to visit and haven't.
Easy.
Top place you want to visit but haven't. And why haven't you? Okay. I'll go ahead and start because you guys are pondering this right now. I want to go to Italy, but I want to lose about 15 pounds first.
Because you're going to gain it all back.
Just let it rain. Like I want to black out from food every meal. That's what I want to do. I want to just get dirty. I want it to be almost a sexual experience with the food. I want to just get all down and nasty with it. So that's what I want to do. But I want to do it for like 15 to 20 days because the flight over is going to kill me. I still don't know what I'm going to have to like stop in New York or Atlanta for like a day because I can't just do the Salt because I have to go to Lewiston to Salt Lake or Lewiston to Seattle. And doing a 12, 13, 14-hour flight is going to just be I can't do that. I don't know. Even in first class, this would be a nightmare. AC, where do you want to go?
It's between. I've always wanted to go to Japan. I don't know why, but being the kung fu master, watching the Asian culture growing up, waking up every Saturday morning watching kung fu theater, and I might be culturally wrong as far as the place I wanted to go, but I know that it's probably more of a pleasant place than China. So I want to go to Japan and then see how they live on the other side of the world.
I've been to Beijing and into China in the summer. It was brutal, hot, smoggy. Japan notoriously has a cleaner record, cleaner cities. I think you're spot on with that. I think that's a good assessment.
Okay, Jodice. The whole Japan thing. I'd like to go for like an hour.
Let me fly 20 hours to stay for an hour. We'll just flip it.
I want to be like an hour just because I have a feeling it's going to be very crowded and I don't want that many people next to me.
Isn't that China?
I think that's more China. I think they're both crowded, but I think you'd be better off in Japan. I'm with you. Japan's on the list.
That's fine. I mean, I would embrace their food. I would let it rain there.
Yeah.
There's so many people, and the whole. I don't know. The language barrier would be rough. I mean,
that's New York.
What? No, yeah, well, yeah. New York
Why do you think he moved to Idaho? He's just in his little bubble out there.
I don't want to see people at all.
Rubio,
so nice.
It sounds like you and I are going on vacation, bro.
Let's go.
Your answer is exactly the same as mine. I mean, literally,
Italy.
Your answer is exactly the same as mine, and I would prep exactly the same way you would. So my family, the Jodice name Jodice hails from Naples. My mom's family is from Sicily. So I mean, I've never been to the boot. It's a black mark on my record, quite frankly, as a Jodice.
You're almost Irish now.
It's terrible. Well, my wife's Irish, so that's cool. I'd love to go there as well. But if it was go right one place you've never been, that for sure. And I'm like you, we got to cut weight, bro. We got to cut weight. We got to cut weight on the flight there. We got to get every pound down. We got to get every calorie out.
Russell Wilson in the aisle. I'll be doing the Russell Wilson training in the aisle.
So that's number one. And then only in the last few years have I really started to think a trip to Jerusalem, Israel, right? That holy city. I think that would be a life-changing experience.
You're right.
So that one for me has been bumped up the list. I think a trip to the Holy Land would be pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, that's been life changing for a lot of my friends who have gone there. It's really I wouldn't say a midlife crisis, middle of your life.
Yeah, that's why I think maybe I'm feeling that, right? I'm 42.
Yeah,
I'm like, I need it.
Got to go do it. And I'm like, yeah, I might put that off a little bit, but I think I have to go at some point with my obligations at church and everything. But everybody that has gone is like, yo, this is where it all began.
That's what I'm saying. Like believing what I personally, what I believe, to walk in those same potential steps and streets and places where all of that went down. And maybe I'm focusing on it more because we're approaching Easter and all. Like, I think a trip there would be life altering, at least to say the least. But number one seed, you got to go back to where your name.
I like that.
The good Reverend Jodice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wait, real quick, sub question before we go to commercial.
Where would you never want to go? Where would you never want to go?
Yeah, let's go. I would never want to go, and no offense, or you could take offense. I don't give two craps. I don't know.
I'm joking. I just thought of that. You know what? We went to China once. I'm good.
Yeah, I don't want to go to India.
I'm good.
I'd like to see India for about 35 minutes. Yeah, but I want to be like hovered in a helicopter.
There's so many great places. I mean, like, never been to Australia. Right. I've never been to Alaska. I'd love to go to Alaska in the dead of winter. Like when it's Alaska, bro, like cold. I want to go experience that.
As Rube would say.
Well, you SoCal guys don't want any part of that. I get it.
I can't go to Idaho. It's too cold.
No, not where I live, AC. You'd like it where I live. I'm in the lowest elevation, so I only get like 2 inches of snow per year. My kid just went to Montana State, Bozeman. First day there, -30.
Go Cats. Go Cats.
No, thank you.
You said favorite holiday?
Favorite holiday.
You're going to hate mine because you hate it.
Oh, Thanksgiving?
Dude, it's a day built around food and football. Come on, bro.
If Thanksgiving was every day, I'd be about 97 pounds.
Yeah, no, clearly.
Because it's so bad.
The problem is I don't know who's cooking, and I don't want to offend anyone in your immediate circle.
This is the right show to offend people.
But
yeah, go ahead. I don't care.
You hate Thanksgiving food. Who's cooking for you, bro?
Here's the thing, and my wife's a very good cook. I'm telling you right now. Here's my thing.
Attack on wife.
I said this before. If turkey dinner is so great and everyone loves it so damn much, you do it one time a year. You know why? Because it's trash. And it's 364 days later, you're like, oh, let's do Thanksgiving again. Let's do turkey. It's no different than Hell Week. Every athlete doing Hell Week in football, you're getting through Hell Week and you're like, this is the worst. I'm never doing this again. And then 9 months later, you forget about how miserable you were, the smell of grass and just BO and just ugly people. And then you're like, oh, Hell Week's not that bad. And then you end up doing it again. And halfway through, you're like, what the hell am I doing? Didn't I remind myself that I hated this? Okay. Thanksgiving is trash. Turkey is the worst. Mashed potatoes on them. The only good thing is the pie, and then that's still not even a good pie. A pumpkin pie. Jesus, you got.
Dude, there's like 5 pies you can have. You don't have to just limit it to pumpkin. Here's what you need to do, Chris.
Pumpkin, apple, trash.
Chris, here's what you need to do. You need to come to the homestead nestled in the beautiful foothills of the Blue Ridge Parkway, and you need to come have this spatchcock smoked turkey off the green egg. Okay, that thing is a game changer.
Okay,
but you're talking Aunt Carol through the bird in the 400-degree oven for 4 hours.
No seasoning.
It's dry, and it's
no based.
Maybe if you didn't feed him from the table. Nah, he was just nosing around in the trash. You know, Uncle Eddie, you got Uncle Eddie at the table, and you're eating dried out turkey with the grizzly. That's the problem.
You're having the wrong Thanksgiving dinner, Rubes. You got to come to the hood, baby. We got fried turkey, fried chicken, fried catfish. We got
all the mac and cheese you want.
All the mac and cheese, different types. We got greens.
And you got sweet potato pie.
Sweet potato, no pumpkin, sweet potato pie.
Trash.
Oh my God, man. Cranberries. Oh my God.
You're going to either get a horse head in your bed or a drive-by if you keep all this talking. I don't know which one.
Thanksgiving is absolutely trash. So Thanksgiving's your number one, Jodice.
It's an entire day built around food and football. Lock me in. And I love 4th of July, but it's hot as balls. So I love
you live in the South.
This is going to tell you clearly this guy loves the 4th of July. But man, Thanksgiving, and we do it up in the mountains, and it's getting a little cold, and so good. So good. And
then you just starve to death.
No, I eat everything in sight, and I got to cut weight after Thanksgiving because I'm a fat turd.
Do you have a tongue? Do you have taste buds?
Yeah.
Bro. Are you sure?
Bro. Bro, come get some of this. Come get some of this smoked turkey off the green end.
The Italian, man, he eats with seasoning.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. Not if he likes
and
Thanksgiving.
we traditionally at my mother's house, if we're having Thanksgiving with mom and dad, she does a bunch of Italian veggies, fried artichokes, asparagus, spinach patties.
Yum.
So we throw that in the mix. You'd get down on that, Rubio.
Yeah,
that gets you going.
Even if it's vegetables, but he has to have fried vegetables.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. And if I have Thanksgiving at AC's, from what I hear, it's going to take 5 years off my life because every single thing's fried.
Oh, you're going to die.
So, AC, what's your favorite holiday?
Despite the historical insignificance of my happiness, Thanksgiving and Christmas, where we don't know when our Savior was born, but we're going to celebrate it on the 25th, just because. Yep. And then, my Native American heritage doesn't let me celebrate Thanksgiving to its fullest. So I celebrate family at that same time of year, football, family, and food. So those two holidays are pretty much significant. Mother's Day. I do take pride in cooking for my mother and my wife every Mother's Day.
That's a good answer.
They make them happy, even though I get crap on that Father's Day. We get nothing. We get, what do you want to do on Father's Day? I'm gonna go play golf. Go have fun. So it is what it is.
It's an indictment on Father's Day. You heard it here.
Father's Day is crap.
Christmas is a good day, bro. I mean,
Christmas is great.
Christmas is great, right?
Because
I love Christmas.
I haven't gotten a present in 20 years.
Well, start getting yourself a present.
Yeah, bro. Santa's been leaving stuff for me under the tree for years.
I get stuff for myself throughout the whole year. That's my Christmas.
I got you.
I always had an issue with Santa growing up due to the fact that we didn't have a chimney.
Confusing.
There was no fireplace.
Confusing. Was he just busting the front door?
Yeah, that was the theory.
It's a B&E. It's a B&E, bro. It's a B&E.
And yeah, it was not good. And that was, especially weird around the Richard Ramirez time when he was rolling through the streets.
I'm Santa Claus. That's what I tell my kids. I'm Santa Claus.
You just let them know. You just let them know.
No, I bought those gifts. Nobody comes.
Ain't nobody taking credit for. Nobody takes credit for my hard work and earnings.
Milk. This is mine.
Is this the time when you said you had to go gorilla on them?
We had to go gorilla. King Kong ain't got nothing on me.
Let them know, Denzel. Let them know.
I bought the strength of 150. I bought I bought this. I got receipts. They keep acting crazy. It's all going back. It's all going back. By tomorrow, you guys will all be playing basketball.
Who was that? Day. Was that Eva Mendes in training day with him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Golly. She's
like, pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
She's not ugly.
No.
At all.
No.
I'm going to do my favorite holidays, then we'll go to commercial. Okay. Jodice. Favorite holidays, number 1, 4th of July. Love it. Up at the lake.
And 4th of July at the lake for you has got to be phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. And I'm 300 steps from One Shot Charlie's. So it's absolutely phenomenal. 4th of July, followed by Christmas. I love Christmas. Big Christmas guy. Always been a big Christmas guy. And I think it gets better as you get older. I mean, obviously, when you're younger, the whole trying to get to sleep the night before, the anticipation, all that good stuff. It's fantastic. But older, I think it's cool you get to see people, I like to watch the kids now. Yeah. Not in like a Joey B way, but just like to watch the kids, kind of.
That's terrible, man.
Hey, kids. Just trying to wrap that gift.
Like a R. Kelly way.
Guys, Uncle Chris is creeping me out again. Chris is creeping me out.
How young we talking?
Does everyone call you Rubio, even your nieces and nephews? They call you Uncle Rubio or they call you Uncle Chris?
Everyone calls me Rubio. My wife calls me Rubio.
So
like no one calls me
Nobody
Chris.
knows branding like you.
My mother every once in a while will call me Chris or Christopher. But
when you're in trouble, when you're in trouble. Yeah.
You got 5 yellow hoodies for Christmas. I got you something that you know you like.
Jodice, take us to commercial, my man.
All right, we'll be right back.
You have been watching The Rubio Method, a show on the NGBN.TV network.
Let's get going, gang.
Our dedicated staff is ready to work for you. ArcBeat specializes in custom apparel. Call us or order online. Free shipping nationwide. Custom printed shirts are our specialty, and we make sure you get exactly what you want. Bring in your own design or let our team create one for you. Promote your business, event, or club with pens, caps, bottles, mugs, and more.
Creating cool since 1985.
Take it away, Rubio.
Focus up. I'm talking to all you geniuses out there with great taste buds that do not like turkey dinner. Welcome back to episode 56 of the Rubio Method. This is pre-recorded. Got my man Jodice and I got my man AC coming on. AC, I was thinking about it. We've known each other since 93. Okay. I stopped playing. You stopped playing in 97 or 98? 97.
I graduated in 97, stopped playing 96.
And then we hadn't really seen each other or spoken to each other until about 2 years ago. That is weird.
Pandemic, yeah. You said, why haven't I been on your show? And I said, because you
vanished, basically. I moved, I know, and it just kind of kept going.
But we...
Hold on.
Man, it's so good. We had him. He was strong.
I'm on my fly. I'm frozen again?
Yeah, you gotta keep freezing up.
I don't know what that is, man. I'm doing well over here. It looks pretty clean to me.
I don't know.
But am I back?
You're back, but you're pixeled. You look like 1982 Atari.
Oh man, that's terrible. Well, still Chevy and Nancy feel now.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't move, you're not too bad.
We're gonna battle through it. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
push through it. I'll just keep telling my story. You didn't know what Rubio's up to, except him and Chris Hiller have a lock on and snapping and kicking.
Yeah, we got to do what we got to do.
True.
All right, let's turn up the volume a little bit on this, get a little bit heated in this conversation. There's two stories I want to talk about before we're going to end with your end of time meals, but we'll get to that in probably about 8 minutes from now. My buddy, okay, I'm going to tell you a little story about my buddy, and it's going to bleed into the other topic we have. His son just got suspended from school. He goes to a private school out in the Seattle area. He just got suspended, and here's the reason why. And I told him I'm all for rah teacher, rah administration, because I was a teacher. I believe the teacher first, then I believe my kid. I've always done that. I'm really strict that way. But this one, I said I would have thought my kid would not have been suspended. His kid is going on a bus, and he's going to some ski hill. And their kids are on the bus, and there's 50, 60 of them, and they're all 7th graders. They're 8th graders. They're all morons, just like whatever. Everyone's got their phones out or something. And someone says to him, hey, what do you rate this girl, 1 to 10? This girl, Jane, is she cute? 1 to 10. He goes, no, I don't. And they said, no, you have to. And he goes, 0. And they said, well, you got to be between 1 and 10. He goes, 1. And then they go around to all the people. And this girl's not on the bus. She's somewhere else. Of course, the idiot is videotaping it. He didn't know it was being videotaped. And the videotape, or not videotape, Jesus, I'm dating myself here. The recording gets sent to the girl, blah, blah, blah. And the mom complains to the principal. So he got suspended.
The kid who said the one who wasn't even videotaping
got suspended because he was not being nice. That's the reason. And then he had to go to a justified almost inclusion or something like that resource. He had to spend a day of suspension in class learning to be nicer. And I said, so basically they want you to teach your kid to lie. Because that's the way I looked at it. If she's ugly, she's ugly. That's fine.
Well, but part of your story too is it seemed to me like he was not even interested in participating.
No,
I'd love to watch the video. Because was he like, I don't want to do this. Come on, you have to give us something. Okay, fine, 0. Come on, you have to give us something. Okay, fine. So it seems to me like he was actually more like just giving them a number to not be a part of it at all versus potentially being hateful. Secondly, when you said Seattle, okay, great, makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And it's a private school. It's not a public school. Like this is, I said, you got to get him out of the school. He goes, this is the best school around, man. There's no other option.
They kicked him out of the school or they suspended him?
They suspended him for a whole day.
Yeah, and that's kind of wild. That's a little wild. It's not shocking.
I got a sideways take on this. I saw this in live action. My nephew and his buddies were lifting weights. We had an outside weight room. Some young ladies were walking by, see-through gate. Hey guys, how you guys doing? All the guys, ugh. And I had to stop the weight room session and educate them. No matter how you might feel, how 0 to 5, under the 5, whatever it is, you treat women with respect.
Sure.
If you think she's a 0 or a 1, even if you don't even want to participate,
right?
Just say 5, bro. Like,
or even say, guys, we're
comment.
not doing this. We're not doing this. Right? That's disrespectful to do that. Now, he's an 8th grader, right? And in the moment, right? He's not thinking.
He's not thinking.
Unfortunately, he's not thinking, hey, because he could, if he was to stand up and say, guys, we're not doing this. That's enough. Turn the camera off. We're not going to talk about our classmates that way. He'd be a hero, right? But in the moment, he just did what most 99% of eighth grade boys would do, slough it off. So it seems to me like he was really just not caring versus trying to throw a diss. So, but to suspend him for a day, I'm like,
it was a good lesson though. It's a great lesson because as an adult, anything you do you're going to be held accountable, no matter how young and dumb you might have been. I mean, you see Jerry Jones at the hate rally.
Did they suspend the kid who recorded the video?
He should be 5 days suspension.
The whole group got suspended. The whole group got suspended. But my take is this: the whole group, like 10 of them, like they're 10 in that circle. They were in the back of the bus doing what they're got to do, whatever. Yeah. But my take is this: he was being honest. Okay, why can't he just be honest? And I'm not physically attracted to her. She's not my type. She's got red hair. I don't know. She's got freckles. She's got whatever.
Yeah. I would make the case that they're eighth graders, and let's just stop the conversation altogether. Because you could. So I got 2 daughters, right? So I'm thinking about if my daughter was on the other end of that, and how devastating that would be for her to hear her peer. I understand they have to grow up and they have to hear the truth and all that, but that doesn't mean you don't want to protect them from that level of feeling. So
I understand that. And you could say, hey, Susie and Jane, just because Tommy doesn't think you're hot doesn't mean that you're not beautiful. I think you're the most beautiful person in the world. Tommy's just a jackass.
And that's what I would say.
I think young men need to be disciplined to that gentleman thing. Like I've had to discipline some guys for disrespecting my daughter or my wife. And at a certain age, 7th grader, 8th grader, they can geek. Oh, super funny, huh? Have a seat. Yeah. Me and you, one-on-one. And it's going down.
And there's an important conversation to be had about dads and male role models stepping into those situations and busting some ass with your words, right? To be able to set these boys off on the right path. Because what you could do is, now I'm not trying to blow this out of proportion, but if you don't correct these boys in that moment,
it's gonna get worse.
That could then spiral into worse. So I think you do have a potential to. And unfortunately, like all the kids are on the phone recording, parents are disconnected too. So we need men to step up, step into the breach, and be role models and stop trying to be buddies with these guys, because then they're going to keep acting that way.
I agree 1,000%, but I still don't think I would have fought the suspension the entire time, because I would have said, you're teaching my kid to lie.
And you know what? I agree with you in that respect, right? Like suspending him for the day doesn't really set the lesson. The longer lesson is we're going to sit down and have a real conversation about how your words, even if you didn't really give them a lot of credence in the moment, could impact this young lady. And we need to discuss that versus you're just out of here for a day. And that maybe they did that. I don't know. Right. But
my buddy was saying as well, he said, well, you have to remember that everything was being recorded, and that's the way the world is today. I go, I don't care if I'm being recorded. If I think someone's ugly and I say they're just not my type, I don't find them attractive, you can record me all day long. I'm not lying. I don't want to kiss AC or Jodice right now. That's a simple fact.
Okay? But the principle of it is, though,
you should be so lucky, bro. You should be so lucky to lock lips with this masterpiece.
Well, it's like I'm never going to call another man's wife ugly.
Yeah, there's just a level of respect.
I have heard, like Jonathan, what's his name? Coach Franklin from Penn State said, I recruit coaches to coach for me who have smoking hot wives, because that lets me know he has a certain level of confidence and he has a certain level. And that was just something he said. Right. And everybody was like, oh, you can't say that. But it's a sick time in the history of the world where you can't be honest. But a kid needs to learn that girl might find out that you said that. So like I've taught my son, never put yourself in a situation where you're the subject of something like that. Always be a gentleman, even if you want to say something negative. Like when we pimped my son out a few times to a couple of proms and a couple of events, and the young girl may not have been as attractive as the girls that he likes, but I say, man, son, do this for me. Come on, man, do this for me. And he's like, all right, Dad, I'll do it. And he goes and has a good time, even though he doesn't find the girl attractive. Yeah. He has been taught that. Yeah. But my nephew, oh man, she's ugly. Oh, she looks like a dog. Oh no, heck no, she's fat. Oh. And then he has a bad reputation at school. I'm like, we're not doing that.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah. Let me tell you what else I'm tired of.
He doesn't need to do all the adjectives and all that. He doesn't need to say she's fugly and all that. Just, hey, not my type, not my thing. I don't date redheads. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And he didn't know that yet.
Yeah, there's a more tactful way to approach it. This is not really connected to the subject, but it kind of is. But we're just being real because this is what we do here at NGBN TV. Let me tell you what I'm tired of.
100%.
I'm tired of guys talking shit about their wives around their buddies. This and then she does that and she does that. So by doing that, you're then potentially breeding another generation that's going to be disrespecting women. And listen, you're going to have challenges with your bride. We all have things we got to work through, but openly talking shit, I'm kind of over that. And it seems like such low hanging fruit. Oh, we can all share. I don't know, man. It's just, I'm kind of tired of it.
What about playing devil's advocate? What if it's that's his way of venting? If he doesn't go see a therapist,
okay. All right. I'll give you the example. You want to come talk to me and let's talk about things going on. You want to vent and all that. There's a difference between standing in a social circle of your peers and making fun of your wife as a punchline to a joke around guys that you're trying to impress. That's what I mean most. My point is that I'm getting sick of that bullshit.
I don't have any. Yeah,
you got to check. My say is check those guys. You got to check.
Yeah,
those guys.
I haven't had a bunch of guys do that around me.
I'm not saying I've had a bunch. You see it every now and then.
You see it. I see a lot of guys online doing that kind of
stuff. That's what I say. Yeah, I probably see more guys at a bar talking to each other. Obviously, my friends are buttoned up tight, right? I go tight and right. But you know what I'm saying? Something about that is just, it bugs me.
I mean, I love how my wife, handles herself and laughs at me and my situations, like being big time at Super Bowl. She thought that was hilarious.
You unrightfully so got big time.
I said Rubio was on my head and said Big O came through, and she said, you still got big time because X, Y, and Z. I was like, well, my wife keeps me straight and she keeps me lined up, and I'm cool with that. But I never talked bad about her to a point where I can't stand my ball and chain. But my favorite show growing up was Married with Children.
Such a good show.
And Al Bundy was kind of like the extreme of it.
He was the extreme,
but he never cheated on her. He would just kind of like, but he always would say the things that we thought were hilarious as men, having the No Ma'am group and all that stuff.
I mean, she was kind of underrated hot, right?
Peg was super hot, smoking
right?
hot.
Yeah. Okay,
but cool. And Al was a loser, so go figure.
Hold on now. The greatest athlete Paul Kai had ever seen.
For tubs in the game, yeah.
That's right.
Shoe salesman with a 2,700-foot house. I mean, how did you afford that house? Being a shoe salesman.
It's a different time, simpler time.
In Chicago, man.
Simpler time.
Was that Chicago?
Yeah.
Where were they?
Chicago.
Man,
no,
that's a reference. I don't know that I have that bit of info.
I'd have
to look it up on the old machine here.
When at UCLA, we were right on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. The little kid, what the hell was the kid's name in the show?
Bud?
He was at Bud Bundy. Yeah, he was at a club, and that dude was all of 3'8".
Oh yeah,
he was tall.
He was
not
like
tall.
a sub 60.
Not tall.
I remember he walked by me. I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Bud Bundy.
Yeah, he was teeny tiny. You know what? We're going to just keep going. We don't have time for commercial because
I was going to say, we taking one more break, or we just roll into the end here?
No, we're not. What's it called? But you bring up a good point, AC, or was it Jodice, about how you see it more online.
Yeah.
This whole bashing thing, and it's also very, very prevalent on television shows and movies. You see it a lot, but also you see it as the father being the doofus, kind of like the negative.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think they're both getting overplayed. Where how many TV shows or movies have you seen in the past blank years where there's a strong father figure with a nuclear family, a daughter, a son, and everything's right? It's not like the second marriage or third marriage. Nothing against those, but I'm just saying it's one of those where it's just man, woman, kid. Strong, Viva Americana.
Well, there's a underlying theme as to why we are doing this show on NGBN TV and why we launched this thing. Men across our nation and across North America, and specifically middle-aged men, have been marginalized, I think, intentionally for too long. And those guys feel isolated, like they don't matter anymore because they turn on the TV and they see some fat, dumb doofus. I mean, there's this famous cell phone commercial within the last 2 years where this whole family, it's like they got 6 kids. The dad's wearing the white t-shirt. It's all strung out. He looks like utter crap. By the way, his wife's attractive. He's got a whole big family. He's got a nice house, but yet they're a disaster. Smash cut to his wife's sister who says, you don't need the family to get the family plan. And I'm like, that's on purpose, man. That's on purpose.
Yeah, that's 100%.
And that's not cool, man. And that's the guy. I'm going to get serious with you guys for a moment. That's the guy that it gets to be too much, and he goes to the garage and he never comes back into the house.
100%.
That's what's really happening.
Yeah.
So then we got to stop that. We got to stop it.
And to cut you off, just because we're coming up on the clock here, one way to stop that is April 6th. April 6th, NGBN.TV. We don't open the door. Call 911. Wait for them. Learn the signs of suicide before the sign you see is too late. Register now. April 6th, equip ourselves to save a life. NGBN.TV. 2 times we're doing it, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern, and again at 9 a.m., 11 a.m. Pacific, streaming on all NGBN TV platforms. People are setting up watch parties. They're going to their gyms to watch it. I know there's a couple fireman crews that I've heard of. Dave Bradley, the Wisdom Rap, was telling me he's got his whole entire church doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it at the barbershop, man. We're hosting at the barbershop in downtown.
I don't go to a barbershop.
I can see that.
There's no need.
Self-care. Self-care.
That's a great idea. So April 6th, make sure you guys register at ngbn.tv. I think it's /save a life. It's right there on the website. You can't miss it. It takes 30 seconds to register, and spread the word. Spread the word. If you guys are following us on social media, we'd really appreciate you sharing it as well. Yep. This was a fantastic episode 56 of the Rubio Method.
We'll let you close it out. We'll pop out of here. You can close us out, big dog.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming out, AC. I appreciate you coming out as well. You guys are the best. I owe you 2 big hugs from Idaho and no food from Thanksgiving because it's absolutely terrible. Remember, if you have any question, you can email rubio@therubiomethod.com. I will be back next week. I don't know what day it's going to be. Tuesday, 4 o'clock. We're going to do a live show again. On that note, Jodice, I'm out.
Thanks for watching The Rubio Method on the NGBN.TV network. Be sure to spread the word, and don't forget to subscribe, like, or follow on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, Twitter, LinkedIn, and